Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 28th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I will say I am recovering a bit from last night. We'll get into it. I had a good time. Got a little wild, got a little wet. But overall, we've been having a really good day. We'll start off a Saturday. I got a little bit extra sleep because I just needed it. I woke up. I had to clean up a bit of a mess that I left before I fell asleep. And then I wound up just getting up, getting ready, and going to the gym. Gym was good. It was a good heavy lift session. I will say I kind of just had like the vibes around cardio. I'm like, you could cut cardio short. You're kind of running late. You don't really feel that great. You kind of feel a little sloshy and hungover and gross. You could just go home. And I'm like, no, we're gonna do it. We gotta sweat it out. Let's just get through the whole fucking hour and we'll be good. So I'm glad I did. And yeah, everything was good. Everything was irate. Now we're back here. We're yapping it up. But yeah, let me get into the meat. Let me talk about yesterday. We had a lot of fun things happen. It was a bit of a me day, if you will, through it all. So if you remember from the last episode, I did mention my Wi-Fi was out, and I was like, damn. So right after the episode, I took a fat nap, woke up, Wi-Fi still wasn't up, and so I'm like, what should I do? What to do? And this kind of, it was almost like the universe aligning kind of moment where I had a conversation with one of my newsies, and they're like, "Hey, I want to like do a thing. I want to kind of sponsor a meal for you." And I was like, "What?" At first, obviously I was honored. I was like, "That's great. That's so cool." And essentially it might be something that we do again in the future, just in terms of like just like a way to support the effort, still give you like a newsy shout out, like maybe a spot on. In this situation, the person really didn't want it, and that's okay. I really appreciate that all the same. But yeah, essentially at the moment I couldn't figure out what to really pick to eat. But in this moment with no Wi-Fi, I'm just kind of chilling. I'm like, you know what I really want, and what's been scratching at me? I want a lobster roll. I have never had a lobster roll in my entire life. In all my days, never had one. So it's on my list. And when I went to Twin Peaks last time, the old Booba restaurant, I saw that it was on the menu, but I just didn't want to get something that was like gonna be a flop, right? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of all the food here anyway. I don't want to be disappointed, right? So that popped back in my head though. I'm like, you know what? I'm curious. I want to try it. So we wound up going to Twin Peaks. I mean, well, I should say we. I mean we or me. I went and I got the lobster BLT. So essentially, it was a lobster roll, but they used like a lobster salad kind of situation, then with lettuce and bacon and tomato. So a little bit different than opposed to the traditional lobster roll, at least from what I've kind of gathered. But it was good. It was very yummy. It definitely hit the spot. And not to mention, I liked that they gave you like two lobster rolls instead of just one. So overall, it didn't disappoint. Someone asked me to rate it, and I got a 10, 10 being good, 1 being bad. I said a 7. Mainly because even though I really liked it, I would say it's not the lobster roll I pictured. Like, I wanted those chunks, like the big chunks of lobster. Just a little bit of that. But overall, though, really good, very yummy. I would definitely eat it again. So yeah, that was how I kind of started my night off, and I'm still, waiting for the Wi-Fi to come back on. And you know, Spectrum, they tell me, okay, it's gonna be on by like the end of the evening, around like 7:15 ish or whatever. 7:15 ish rolls around and it's not up, and I'm kind of like, I'm kind of, I don't know, I want to get my episode up. This is a bummer. So I hit up my friend and I say, hey, do you think I could come down and hang out and like upload my episode? Like, Would that be okay? And he was like, sure, dude. And so that's what I wound up doing. And I went to the city, went down to Northside a day early, and got my episode uploaded. So that's why it came up. I mean, I guess in the usual scheme of things, it wound up coming up around the same like time it normally would. Excuse me. So it really wasn't that noticeable. But I was like, okay, episode's up, and now we can party, and so that's what we did. It was fun. A lot of drinks were had. I had a really good time. I think we closed out the night. Another first for me. I had my first. Well, no, I can't say this is my first 10 fish, but it is my first 10 fish. Like, I don't count tuna. I count tuna as like a canned fish, right? I don't know, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like a sardine kind of situation. And I had it on bread with like a little bit of mustard. It was fire. It was fire. It was actually very good. Another thing I would eat again. So yeah, it was a nice Friday night out. I could definitely feel that I went way too hard for the night. But I was just feeling myself. But yeah, we woke up. I was dragging ass. I got my ass back home, and I'm like, hey, we made it. We made it all the way back. The Wi-Fi's finally back on. That's great. And then I went to the restroom. I went to the bathroom, and I knew coming out of the bathroom, I was like, get the bucket. I'm like, I don't want to do this, but get the bucket. And then I got to my room, and then I just puked in the bucket, and then immediately passed out. It was like that, y'all, and that's the full circle. There we go. We made it. So yeah, that was from episode to episode where I left you off. Like I said, overall, I'm feeling good. I'm in good spirits. Just a little mushy. Just a little mushy. We got the Gatorade for the Bev today. No big drink to start or anything like that. So, but speaking of starts, let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a celebratory mood in a bit of a way. I actually paid off one of my loans today, so that was kind of cool. That's nice, even though I have a new loan that's bigger and worse. But we gotta take the dubs where we can. Like yes, I got my squeaky brakes. That sucks, but they work. They're nice brakes, apparently. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, so we're taking the W's where we can take the W's, right? We're putting them on the shelf. Oh, we also had everything bagels with strawberry cream cheese. Fire. So fire. I be missing bread so much. Whenever I get it, I get so giddy. Mm. Love bread. I miss you, bread. Anyway, from the Associated Press, Congo and Rwanda sign a U.S. mediated peace deal aimed at ending decades of bloody conflict. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda on Friday signed a peace deal facilitated by the U.S. to help end the decades long deadly fighting in eastern Congo while helping the U.S. government and American companies gain access to critical minerals in the region. Today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity, harmony, prosperity, and peace, President Donald Trump told the foreign ministers of the two countries at a White House meeting. The agreement was signed earlier at the State Department's treaty room beneath a portrait of Colin Powell, the first African American to hold the job of top U.S. diplomat. There, Secretary of State Marco Rubio called it an important moment after 30 years of war. The Central African nation of Congo has been racked by conflict with more than 100 armed groups, the most potent backed by Rwanda, that have killed millions of people since the 1990s. While the deal is seen as a turning point, analysts don't believe it will quickly end the fighting because the most prominent armed group says it does not apply to it. Many Congolese see it mainly as an opportunity for the U.S. to acquire critical minerals needed for much of the world's technology after their government reached out to Trump for support in fighting the rebels. Trump has pushed to gain access to such minerals at a time when the United States and China are actively competing for influence in Africa. Which I feel like that was the main driver for the U.S. involvement. And it's like they kind of get to oversee it. And I know they had some like Middle Eastern countries kind of help facilitate everything, like Qatar and I believe Doha, at the behest of America. But I mean, it seems that maybe America is going to stand the benefit maybe the most out of this with like, rare minerals deals. I would hope that there's going to be peace out of this situation. But I know that there was, I believe, some armed group that I believe like killed 10 people like on the day of signing this. So, I mean, it's just hard to like really believe and hold fast that like this is going to be peace. It's going to bring peace. But I mean, all you can really do is hope and stay vigilant and, keep talking about this shit. But I know all the parties are kind of still at play doing the same kind of things. No one's really fully standing down. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to be optimistic here. Hopefully this is more than just a photo op, and we actually see like good, peaceful progress in the future. So yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about that. Let's hit the next story. Take it to New Orleans from USA Today. Fugitive in NOLA jailbreak captured after 6 weeks on the lam. Authorities in Louisiana have captured one of the last two remaining fugitives still on the loose after a brazen jailbreak in New Orleans nearly 6 weeks earlier. Anton Massey, 33, was arrested Friday at a home in New Orleans, according to the Louisiana State Police. He was among 10 inmates being held at the New Orleans Justice Center when they broke out of jail on May 16th. An escapee that wasn't noticed until more than 7 hours, or an escape that wasn't noticed until more than 7 hours later. It prompted a manhunt that spanned multiple states. 8 of the 10 were captured earlier, most in New Orleans and 2 in Texas. Earlier this month, Massey posted a social media video proclaiming his innocence, which was crazy to see that. I was like, holy, like you're getting pretty confident, my guy. But yeah, they did wind up, getting him. I believe there's one person left, Derek Groves, 27. He was convicted of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder in connection with a shooting during Mardi Gras in 2018. And then Massey, I believe, had a domestic abuse charge, and then also theft of a motor vehicle. But yeah, so there we go. We're down to 1 on the NOLA breakout situation. They're offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Groves' arrest. That's interesting. All right, well, anyway, we have one more story that I wanted to cover. I would say it's a bit bittersweet in a way, but I don't know. Definitely lines up with the end of the month, Pride and everything. So I felt like, hey, let's go ahead and close out, do our last break, and we'll close out with some Pride news, coming out of Hungary. All right. From NPR, around 100,000 march in Budapest Pride event in defiance of Hungary's ban. Around 100,000 people defied a government ban and police orders on Saturday to march in what organizers called the largest LGBTQ Pride event, or LGBTQ plus Pride event in Hungary's history, in an open rebuke of Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government. Marchers gambled with the potential police intervention and heavy fines to participate in the 30th annual Budapest Pride, which was outlawed by the law passed in March by Orban's right-wing populist governing party. Essentially, they tried to say, or were saying, that like this whole event can't be seen by kids, It's like pornographic, it's confusing, it leads to harm to children, essentially is what they were saying. And they got to get away with this. And so they were trying to just put a whole kibosh on this whole fucking event. I believe you had to pay 200,000. I forget what the Hungarian currency is, but it was a fine of $586. If they caught you going out, then they also 200,000 Hungarian forints. I'm talking about some goddamn Fortnite money, but they've upped since since before March. They upped the camera recognition technology and stuff on the street. And you're thinking like, okay, so you're gonna use this to like stop crime or whatever, quote unquote. No, we're gonna use this to figure out if you were doing any gay shit, so that we can fine you for doing gay stuff. Like, we don't like it. It's so upsetting, and we're gonna sit here and watch on cameras to make sure you're not doing that. Like, can we just be for real here, dude? Like, it's so insane the times that we're living in. I do find that to be very upsetting, that there's just more and more countries, there's more and more leaders who want to push this kind of fucking shit on people. And I'm sure there is a contingency of people that you're like, yeah, this is great, we love that, we don't want to see this hurting our kids, blah blah blah. We know. When it's just they're the ones who are confused and upset about gay people, or they, are using fucking shit as their advantage. I don't know. Sometimes being the one who can kind of push down on people makes you feel good. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck they on, but I was happy to hear that people did come out for this shit. That, of course, this can totally have a chilling effect, but to have such a big turnout, they said, fuck that shit. Fuck Viktor Orban, bro. And I'm saying that shit too. Fuck Viktor Orban, bro. Tomato Town for that man. Anyway, closing out on that note, it's bittersweet in the sense that, motherfuckers got to go through this kind of shit just to celebrate being themselves. It's their month. Let them have that shit. Let them cook. Good that they were able to make it happen. And, it continues. Pride Month continues. Hell yeah. That's where we'll leave it for today. Trying to keep it short and sweet. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Roll calls coming up soon. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Free action really helps out the effort. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you like to listen. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.